welcome to the channel. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. We have a topic today. My name's Shannon Kaiser, and I am here to help you feel better than before. And really, this channel and this focus for this new direction is really going to be and is about healing through self-love and self-compassion and really self-awareness. So wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome here. And it really comes back down to the areas in which we're approaching our life. We're wanting to feel better. We're wanting to be better, but we're also wanting to understand what's happening. And so today's topic is very important because I've been seeing it in my coaching practice. I have a private practice, the one-on-ones I've been doing for over 11 years now. And I'm a book author who has over 6 books out on the psychology of happiness, getting unstuck, feeling better. Really, it comes back to self-love. And ultimately, it all comes back to self-love and self-awareness. So today's topic, mental health, psychology, and spirituality, is going to roll into all of what we're talking about today. The topic itself, am I being manipulated? Maybe you have asked yourself this question. Maybe you are starting to think, this relationship, this partnership, this collaboration, something just feels a little bit off. That is why we are here today. You know, there was a time in my life where I would have never thought to ask this question for decades, in fact. But come to find out, the more work that I do as far as spiritual work, personal development work, the more I get into the industry and the more I work on myself, because I am a dedicated student of life as well. The more I look at inner child trauma that prevents us from moving forward in life, and I start to heal that, I really recognize that the majority of my life, I have actually been surrounded by very manipulative people, whether it's in the work environment or in the neighborhood, social situations, but most in my life has shown up in my personal romantic relationships. So you get to a point where you start asking yourself, something's not right. And you come to maybe a video like this. And today we're going to talk about, do you feel manipulated, and maybe ways to tell. Now, of course, manipulation, everyone being human, we all kind of will do things that are manipulative. Just think of a child who really wants something and they learn how to work their parents over, like, mom, they give them the batting, beautiful eyes. Please, I want the candy in the store. There's that kind of manipulation playing into people's emotions. But then there's also, you grow up and you really want something and you're just kind of sharing that. So there's the innocent manipulation, not really coming from a place of malice. Today, we are actually talking about the other end of that, the full extreme. There are people who are master manipulators, and there's also, the con artists, the abusive. You find yourself in maybe abusive situations where you realize that the person who you are with or involved with in this business venture or getting involved with maybe doesn't have the same intentions as you. So you're starting to think about, what's going on here? Now, of course, when we talk about manipulation, I'm going to give you some tips today, but the top level, how do you feel? It's really important to tap into how you feel. We'll talk more about that. But really, we have to first start recognizing that there's kind of 2 layers in which we move forward. Some people really look at the world in this lens of, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get? Give me more. Give me more. How can I get? And a lot of times we want to look at the value system. Usually in this particular situation, there's a value system of what they value, which is a lot of the times money, greed, and power and control. What can I get? People will usually want more control, more power, more money. And that's the focus and that's the drive. And then you have the what can I give people? And what can I give comes from a place of service. And what can I get comes from a place of service to self. And when we're talking about service to self, this is very much a position of, I am the only one that's important. When we talk about service to others, which is the what can I give, this is a place of how can I help? And usually the motivation and the value system is one of love, of expansion, of joy. Perhaps it's of adding value to the world, of appreciation. So the value systems are different. So you start there. So you can first ask yourself, what is this person's value system? Now, in the beginning of a partnership, sometimes people, master manipulators, may try to convince you their values are the same. You want to play into this in the sense of go inward to your inner world and really tap into, do their actions match their words? Because in time, give it some time before you dive in head first or sign any bottom line paper, contract, or get involved with anyone and have a move in before you really know them. This is one of these things where it's important to really get to see who they are. They will show you who they are, and you get to respond and observe and take that information in. And it's really important in this stage. So the very first thing that we can really recognize is is the person I'm dealing with, are they a taker or a, receiver, a taker or a giver? And, it's important in this process to really just identify. You don't have to call people out or say anything. A lot of times we go on these educational journeys, we tune into these. This is for you. This is for you and your own personal growth. And it's like a mini life coaching session, is like how I'm going to look at this particular topic today. So we first ask ourselves, do I feel like I'm kind of being taken advantage of? And that's actually one of the signs. You might be with a manipulator. They might be, what can I get from this person? Although they're telling you something, their actions are a little bit different. So there's this disconnect and you're feeling it. And if you're starting to kind of feel like you're being taken advantage of, that's a very, very clear sign. Or if you feel like you are giving more and it's not reciprocal, it's a very important kind of distinguishing thing to consider and look into, you start looking at the different signs and put them all together. Because I'm not really just talking about, we all have different phases of our life, and you may have a friend who, at different points in your life, who comes in and out. And, I'm really talking about someone you're trying to build a relationship with or build a venture with, or someone in your life that you're questioning because something feels off. And if it feels off, you really get to a place of, do I feel like this is reciprocal? Do I feel like they are in it for the same reasons I am? Do I feel like I'm being taken advantage of? So that's kind of one layer. And then you can also look at number two is I look at consistency. Is this person consistent? Is there a consistency with perhaps how they communicate? Are they pretty consistent with how they show up for you, whether it's in the way they communicate or how they, communicate with you? But also, it comes back again to the actions. And are they following through on the actions and what they say they will do, or is it a bunch of empty promises? And the longer you get to know someone, the more you get to understand where they're coming from. I had a pattern of constantly being in relationships with people who would just promise or say things that I don't think they ever really meant. And I started to really look at, I am always wondering why people I'm with don't keep their word. And it started to become a real big situation because the promises got bigger and they got broken. This was a major inconsistency. It was a pattern of really looking at people who overpromise. Often will just say what they want to say to get what they need in that moment. And this becomes a manipulative strategy, or they have no intention of really following through. So they're just kind of coming at it right away to get what they need in this moment, make everything better, make that promise. Or maybe there is this intention in their mind where they really want to. But in that case, if they don't, what you want to look at, hold true. Maybe they make a promise or they're not keeping their word. But when they don't keep their word, do they come back and say, I'm so sorry, I didn't pick up the kids, or I had a late work meeting, and they apologize and they make it right, and their actions after really do show change? Or is this a constant behavior that is happening over and over again? I know it may not sound like manipulation, but what this comes back down to is they have a different agenda and a different underlying thing, and they really aren't putting your needs or your care into the whole picture. It also comes when we talk about inconsistency and in and out energy. Are they coming in and out of your life, or are they kind of telling you certain things and then backing away? And so all consistency on all layers, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. Do you feel like you can rely on this person? If not, it's another perhaps thing to look at. Another way you can tell if someone's manipulating you is if they actually play the victim. And I don't want to say play the victim, but sometimes master manipulators will play the victim, where they actually play up the problems in their life. Maybe you share something that's good, maybe something that is exciting for you, and they act happy, they seem happy, they feel happy, but always, again, pay attention to how you feel, because maybe they may be saying they're happy, but you're seeing that they don't really show that they're happy. That's another manipulation. They're just kind of really actually jealous of you. But from this place, Are they turning it back right around on them? And then it becomes back about their life. Or are you finding yourself constantly trying to save them, help them, serve them, give them certain needs that are unmet over your own needs? When we show up for others at the sacrifice of self, this is a manipulation. And a lot of times the takers will find the givers and they will take. It will never, ever really reverse itself because takers are often takers. They have to go on their own journey and do their work of healing and looking at their own personal discovery path. You are going to be in charge of your own side of the street. And chances are, if you're here, you absolutely have a huge, big heart. You care. You want to have genuine connections. You want more meaning in your life. And you really want to understand what's going on. So from that place, it's a beautiful place to come together with understanding that you do deserve really important connections and you deserve to feel good. And you also deserve to have your situations in life be heard as well, whether it's something very exciting that you're celebrating, or if you have something that is not going well, can you share it with someone? Or again, do you feel like they're not there for you? And so if they're often playing the victim or they're in that victim mentality, what this really comes back down to is a lack of accountability. If they are not taking accountability for their life, or if you start to hear the way they talk about other people in their life, and it's always everyone else's fault. It's always that person did this to me, that person, they maybe they have a pattern, they keep losing their job. Maybe they're not able to hold down a certain place they live. And you just start seeing patterns. And these patterns in their life are really a reflection of the lack of accountability and the victim playing up, because a lot of times people like being in that victim role because it gives them attention. So they may have a need of wanting attention. So they're manipulating you and your emotions because you're empathetic, you care, you have such a big heart. But again, this is about you really knowing that your emotional energy is better spent elsewhere, on someone who really is reciprocal, on someone who really you do feel like you are seen, heard, loved, and appreciated. The final one I'm going to share today is actually one that doesn't get talked about too much, but it's a very manipulative strategy that happens quite a bit in very subtle ways. And it is, do you feel like they're testing you? Testing you is something that a lot of people who are wanting to gain something from someone else will do, because they want to see your level of participation in how you will show up for them. And this could look like someone who may be looking for a sugar mama or a sugar daddy, and they will never pay for anything on purpose to see how long they can go with that. I mean, it's something as simple as that. It could be something as simple as, just there's so many little different things, but the testing is where they will kind of purposely, consciously, and very strategically, very calculatedly do a specific thing that for you as an empath, as someone with a sensitive heart, as a big-hearted person who really thinks that everyone is really genuine, at least that's how I felt for so long. I really felt like no one would ever test me to see if I'm going to complete their test. But what they do is they put you through tests, a lot of master manipulators or people who are trying to get something for you. I was involved in a situation where this was several years ago. I thought I was dating someone. We were going on these dates. We went to these yoga studios and had great time, did a little matcha lattes, and we would go for walks around the park. It was so fabulous. And then they all of a sudden, not even all of a sudden, but they just all of a sudden started talking about money a lot. They started talking about money, and it felt off within me. But then all of a sudden I realized they were only spending time with me because they wanted me to be part of their marketing pyramid scheme. They were one of those online marketing things. And so clearly I thought I was getting involved in a relationship, and this person was just manipulating me, using me to try to get me in their business plan. And they were doing tests along the way to see if I would pass them. And that is what you want to look for. So there we have it. These are the things to look for today. You can read more about this in the blog post. And also there's always the other layers here. If you feel lied to, definitely people will lie. If they're giving you the silent treatment, or if you feel gaslit, these are all very, very manipulative and abusive and toxic situations. So you really want to protect your energy and recognize that you deserve more. This is about you understanding that you have a particular process that you need to go through. And it's really important to recognize your self-worth. That's what this is about. So if you're in a situation where you feel manipulated, there's a couple options. You don't have to necessarily call out or address or go straight to that person, because a lot of times these master manipulators, this is how they are. This is how they live. Remember, what can I get mentality? That's how they live. And if you're in a what can I give or how can I serve mentality, it's just always going to be in this different way in which you live. So if you feel every situation is different, but if you feel like you want to approach the person and talk to them, by all means, do it in a very compassionate, kind way and say, hey, this is what I've done in my past. And when I start to feel like maybe I'm being taken advantage of, or the manipulation is kind of coming in, I will say, hey, here's my standards. I want reciprocation. I want someone who can respect me and understands that we're working together as a partnership, and it's not a transactional relationship. If you can meet me here, great. If not, then this partnership doesn't really belong in my life. And lo and behold, soon after that, you will see their true colors. And when you see that, it's up to you to really hold to your standards. So this is about raising your standards. Loves, this is about you coming back into your own awesome, beautiful self. So I hope this video has served. I hope it helped. If you do like it, please, I would love to hear in the comments what's resonating for you. You can like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Thank you.